Hi again. Now we're going to be looking at the equation of a line from a slightly more formal way. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you one just like this in this form. And we're going to look at a line and try to interpret what it is and actually get the equation of the line. All right, so here's what we have. If we start off with a little graph and you see a red line like this, and you're going to try and create it using this, then you're going to need to know a few things. You're going to need to, of course, know what m is and what k is. And we're going to be looking now, before we do that, a bit more at what k does and how you get it from a more formal sense. And let's just start by looking at this yellow one here, this delta y. Don't be afraid of this little symbol. It just means how does y change as you move from one point on the line to another. For example, let's take the easy ones because I already drew the triangle there. If you have a point here and you walk up the line to another point, remember that each point has two coordinates. Each point has an x and a y position, and we're going to just try and find out how they change. See this yellow part, this line right here. From this point to that point, the y changes. You have to go up a certain amount. Then this part here, that's this, that also changes. You have to go up and over, or over and up. It doesn't matter if you want to start on the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. So just think that you're going this way, that's delta x, and then up, and that's delta y. Okay? Let's continue. Here we go. Now we can see what we're doing. We see that the coordinates of this point, right there, having a little trouble with my graph writer, okay. We see that the y part is 3. You can read that off. And that's where this 3 comes from. Okay? Then we can see that down here, that's this. And when we say delta and it means difference, you're saying, okay, let's take the 3 minus the 1, because we're going to do this point minus that point. And let's just continue. You'll see what happens. That becomes 2. We haven't done anything with the delta x yet, but we're about to. So what happens when we do that? It's the same idea. So we have our delta, it's going to be 2 minus 2 for that, because we're starting off, see, let's just isolate these points again. The x part is going to go this part all the way up, that's to 2, and this part from here, that's the 0. So this 2 is that one, and that 0 is that. See how the x part changes by 2 steps, just like the y part in this one changed by 2 steps. We could have chosen any points at all, but it's a good idea to choose the ones that are easiest to read and that are easiest to analyze. But we could have taken, you know, technically like this and that, even if it would have been, I don't know, 4.5 and minus 2.1. It's not a good idea to do that because it's going to be hard to figure out if you're just trying to read a graph. But I would suggest that you take the points that are simply easiest to read. One of the intercepts right here is really nice. It's just really easy to read. And this you can just get right off the thing, which is why I drew it that way. All right, let's take the next step. After we clean it up and we had the 2 minus 0 on the bottom, we get 2. And that's pretty easy to see what's going to happen next. You're going to see that 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. And that is the k value. So once we have that k value, let's see what we can do. Okay, there's our k equals 1. I've cleaned up a bit. The m is easy to read because that's right there. Remember what we said what m was. It is the y-intercept. So now we know our 2 really important things. See that? the k will be traded out there, and the m will be traded out there. So let's get to it. There we go. Now, the k is 1, and I just put it there to show you that it is there, even if you remember from Math A that you don't have to have the 1 there. So we can clean that up right now. Let's go ahead and do that. There you go. Now we can just take away all the things we don't need and get our answer, and there it is. Okay, so what did we do? We started with the general formula, because that's the standard form we need for the equation of a line. We looked at our line, this red thing here, and we said, okay, how do we determine the k value by looking at the graph? We needed the delta y. In other words, how much did y change going from one point to another? And you can see that. You can just go right up the triangle. That's 2 spaces. How much did the x change? That was 2 steps, okay? And 2 divided by 2 was 1. So our k was 1. And there's a little 1 right there, even if you don't see it, because I've already cleaned it up. We don't usually put a 1 there. If it was 2, it would stay, okay? So that's how we did the k. Now the m was more fun because you just read it right off the chart. You just go to the y line, and wherever that line is going through it, in this case it's that one. Wherever it goes through, you just read it off. Okay, there we have it. Hope that helps. See you next time.